Armstrong Neighborhood Channel and Fairland IT pregame show here. You've got several people tonight here. First of all, we got Coach Jack Harris. We got Ricky Shifko, old quarterback, myself, and we're going to have a bunch of guests here tonight. First of all, the pregame show here tonight sponsored by Ricky Shifko State Farm and Riverside Physical Therapy with Joe Lambiot. And we appreciate everybody give us the opportunity to come to you all tonight. Fairland IT live streamed on YouTube and Armstrong Channel. So we're going to get started. We've got several guests lined up for you tonight. And the first one we've got is Mr. Keith Carper. Mr. Keith Carper is band director here at Fairland High School. And Keith, we just want you to talk to us a little bit about the band. Tell us how long you've been here. The question I want to know is when you're going to retire, because I've known you 30 plus years. So kind of give us that, and I'll ask you a couple questions after you talk to us here a little bit.
Well, I've been here for a while. This is my 35th year at this school, 41st year teaching, 35 here. We start with the band every year in mid-July, and we finish with graduation, usually the day after school's out, although this year I guess it's going to be the last day of school as well. During football season, of course, that's the top of our list, playing at all the games and pep rallies and whatever else we have. But we have some other events during that time, too. We do, last night we did Proctorville Fire Parade. Last weekend we went to Jackson for the Apple Festival. Right after football season, or probably still in the playoffs this year, we'll be doing the Veterans Day Parade over in Huntington, and then playing a ceremony for the veterans at the Veterans Memorial Arch right after that. And while all that's going on, we'll be getting the Christmas concert ready, which is the second Sunday in December. And I've got kids playing at Capitol, kids playing in the OMA All-Region Orchestra and all that stuff, all before Christmas. And then after that, we have more events in the spring than we do in the fall.
Well, that's what I was going to mention. The people out there don't realize that band is not just from July until the end of football season. You actually are busier after football season's over, and people don't realize that.
My busiest time of the year runs from mid-January until about mid-April.
Won't you tell us about all those different places you go? I mean, I had a daughter that was in the band with you, and you guys went everywhere. I mean, you were constantly. I mean, I went with you guys. So.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of events that involve some of the kids. Things like honor bands at Marshall University, at Capitol, at Ohio State, Ohio University. Then in March every year, we play at a concert band festival sponsored by the Ohio Music Education Association. And when we're successful there, then we get to go to a state-level event of the same kind of thing, which we've done, I think 16 out of the last 17 years, something like that. So we get to go play at that. A couple of years ago, we played at the state convention, which is probably the most prestigious thing we've ever done. We've played out of state a lot in Florida. This year, we're planning to go, hoping everything works out, planning to do a performance at Universal Studios. It's scheduled for April 19th, so that's what's coming up now. So,
hey, I'm going to tell you what, I know there's two things that these band kids love. Number one is the game you guys do at Marshall.
Yeah.
Where you go and it's band day over there, and all the kids get to go. And, I've told people before, some of those kids never get to go to a college football game.
Yeah,
and that's a great experience.
For the Marshall games, I've got season tickets on the 50. But every year when they have band day, I take the kids because there's a bunch of them that would never get to go if we didn't take them. And they have a great time because they get to go to the football game and they don't really have any responsibilities. They just get to sit around and have a good time. When we're doing a game here at school, we want them to have a good time, but there's stuff they have to do. I mean, there's responsibilities they have to take care of and all that kind of thing. So it's a good day when we do that. We did that, about a month ago, I guess. So.
And I didn't get to go this year.
Yeah, we missed you. So.
Well, there is a couple things I want to ask you about here, and just tell me a little bit about the history and the routine of the band. And when I'm saying that, just give me a little history about, let's just talk about football season. Just kind of give me a history about how things have gone through and how things have changed, or have you kept things the same?
Yeah, well, things are a lot like they were when I first started, 35 years ago. There's some things that we do different as far as stylistic marching things and stuff like that. We've tried to stay true to providing new performances at all the home games. Last year we didn't do that. Last year I just wrote something that was very simple, that if a kid was quarantined for 2 weeks and they got back on Friday without having to do a bunch of rehearsals, they could still participate. And we've kind of been that way again this year, except this year it's been a lot because we haven't had any home games. Like this is game 7 in the season, and this is the first time we'll have done a real halftime show at home, because the other home game was homecoming, and we do different stuff at homecoming.
That's right.
The Crown homecoming court.
Well, it's unfortunate we lost that game with Gallipolis, and we ended up going up to Columbus,
Yep.
and had a good outcome up there. But again, there's nothing like playing at home.
No, it's what we get to do at home is very different.
That's right.
It's easier to control my kids on the away games, but it's the home experience is really good for them, though.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: what impact do you feel like the band brings to the football game? I mean, when I coached football, you and I had a great relationship,
Oh, yeah.
and your kids mingled and my kids mingled,
Yeah.
and it was really kind of a tight knit group there.
Well, we try to play things that are going to be entertaining for folks in the audience, and play some things that are not just exciting, but encouraging for the team and the players and the fans and that kind of thing. But I don't know. When I played sports, once I started playing, I didn't notice what was going on in the stands and all that stuff. I was just playing.
Right.
But so we try to entertain the folks and make it a good atmosphere for the people that come to the game and that kind of thing. Hopefully some of the cheers are helpful, but at the same time, it's more for the people sitting in the stands than anything else, I think.
Well, I know that the band brings a daggone lot of people to the ball games.
We do. Our enrollment, COVID has not been good for our enrollment, so hopefully that won't last forever. But I mean, when we still have plenty of kids, but more is better. So.
Okay. Well, let me see. The time is you've got to go and get ready. So
Yep.
I'm just going to kind of put you on the spot here real quick before I let you go. So we want to know what your score prediction is for the game tonight. Now, here's the thing. You and I have known each other a lot of years, and we've always talked about a lot of games and different stuff. And most of the time, I got to say, folks, Keith's been right a majority of the times.
Well, it's hard to tell because, the only really comparable scores we've got is when both teams played Portsmouth West. And we played Portsmouth West really close, and Portsmouth clobbered.
Well, now, in our defense, I didn't think we played well at Portsmouth
Well,
West.
I was going to say, but it was also the first game of the season for us.
That's true.
Whereas when Portsmouth got Portsmouth West, they both got to play a little bit. I expect it to be a real close game. Somebody win by, a touchdown or less, and actually I think it could go either way. Just from what I've seen and read about it. So. I don't know. I expect some.
Now, Mr. Carper, that's straddling the fence.
That is straddling
You're
the
going to
fence,
have
yeah.
to make a decision here.
Well,
we're
Melvin's
gonna
sitting
hold
over there. I don't want to.
Well, so we're going to mark you down for Fairland tonight?
Yeah, you can put me
Okay,
down.
we're going to put you down for Fairland. All right, Mr. Carper, we really appreciate you coming by and talking to us and being a part of our first program, I guess. Maybe we'll do more. We don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we want to thank you for coming by, and we'll see you tonight. Band night. Good luck.
All right,
and
well,
by the
thanks.
way, Coach Harris, he looks mighty dapper today, doesn't he?
Oh, he's the best dressed out of the whole
Well,
caboodle. I'm going to tell you, though, Keith, we did the ball game down at South Point. It was our first away game, and we were sitting right in front, pretty close to the 50-yard line, and your band sounded terrific.
Well,
I
thank you.
really liked the sound,
Appreciate
especially
it.
those horns. We're really getting it, and you do a great job.
Well,
We
let me ask you
appreciate
one more
it.
question. How many young kids you got this year? Because we haven't talked about that this
well,
year.
we have 10 seniors, but we don't a lot of freshmen, and we use some middle school kids in the marching band. But there's 10 or 11.
Okay.
Is all.
So we're still building. So you're still not going to tell us whether you're going to retire or not?
Well, honestly, I haven't decided yet. Some days I lean toward I'm out of here, and some days I lean toward I don't know. Maybe I can do it.
Coach
tomorrow.
Harris, that's another non-committal right there.
Yeah, well, Depends on which day you ask.
Okay. All righty. Well, hey, we wish you well tonight, and we'll see you. And folks, we got Coach Cunningham
Keep
coming
the
up
good
next,
work, brother.
and
Okay.
he's going to come in, and Coach Harris and Ricky are going to talk to him tonight about what he thinks about tonight's game, and we'll let them kind of talk to him. I don't think we'll have any problem with Coach Cunningham having words to say. So,
Sit down here.
yeah.
First of all, I want to welcome everybody to the Jim Mayo Memorial Stadium, and affectionately known as the Concrete Palace. And we're glad to have you with us tonight, Coach. And I know that this whole thing was kind of your brainchild, and I'm having a good time because I don't have to talk a whole lot. So we're going to give you a chance, and I want to welcome Ricky Shifko. They got him down here as the old quarterback. I don't know. He don't look that old to me.
Yeah, I mean, I graduated high school 2003, and I played in college.
Oh, you're just a pup.
So yeah, still in my 30s. So I definitely got some youth on my side.
Okay, Coach. We're going to start off with program expectations. I know each and every year, the first year was kind of rough, but you have really turned a corner here as far as I'm concerned and what I see. And give us your thoughts about this season and what you expect.
Coming into this season, we had a lot of guys returning, so we were definitely excited to have the experience that we had coming back. And the off-season program was amazing. I mean, we probably, we have 48 guys on our team right now, and on a consistent basis, regardless of what sports was going on, basketball, track, all the things that goes on inside of high schools. We had our numbers was always around 40 in the weight room, and so the guys has really bought into the direction that we're going. They understand what's expected, and they understand the consequences for not taking care of those expectations. So as for us, I mean, we don't talk a lot about winning and losing games because we talk more about discipline and about doing the small things, about bringing energy every day, about competing against each other and the other team while on Friday nights. And we feel that those things are bigger than speaking about winning and losing because that's a byproduct of winning. And, so we feel if we can get those things and have our kids understand and commit themselves to those things, we're going to win football games. And that's what's happened over the last several years.
Okay, why do you think we're so special? Fairland's so special. I mean, I can see with my own eyes that these kids have been in the weight room working hard. This is probably, without a doubt, the best offensive and defensive lines that I've ever seen at Fairland High School. They are just, and you opened up a lot of eyes down there at Ironton, and I feel like we kind of let one get away there. But what I saw up at Columbus South, and last week, just total domination on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So I understand what you're talking about, and these kids seem to want to play for each other. I think that is the
absolutely.
key. It's not about, like you say, winning and losing. Of course, winning's a lot of fun. I remember Kim Mulkey, who was a basketball coach, and she gave a speech when my daughter Ashley was playing AAU basketball, and she said, the fun is in winning. And she's right. But it's the things that you do to get to that level, which I think you're doing pretty well right now. So
I definitely appreciate it.
how about this whiteout? What is that? What's that all about?
Our student section's amazing, and year in and year out, they just continue to just get better. They, and this year, man, it's been amazing, man, just watching those kids behind you. And I don't think that they truly understand their impact on the game. I mean, and, they're truly our 12th man. And, we make that statement, and I truly do believe that. I mean, it's awesome when you look behind you and the student body's there rooting you on, and just seeing some of the outfits, or whether it's a bunny mask or whatever it is. I mean, so they come up with the theme, and it's white out tonight, so hey, we're going to play a little Penn State right here at the Concrete Palace.
Hey, that's an awesome sight. I want to tell you, I watched Penn State, and I think Penn State's playing Iowa this week, and that's going to be a dandy, but I don't know if they're having whiteout. But I think last week they did, and it's an awesome sight. I hope everybody agrees with this whiteout thing. And,
Oh yeah, I definitely hope they embrace it.
I think it will.
So Coach, a couple things that I think we want to talk about real quick while we still got you here. Talk a little bit around the social media impact and what that's done for your program since you've been, active on Twitter and the way that it's really helped grow your program in terms of, kids feeling involved and getting in contact directly with the student section even through your social media.
We definitely use social media to improve our brand. And, I think it's actually been a binding tool not only to improve our brand, get our athletes' name out there, but to connect us with the community. I mean, just with not only with your business down there at State Farm and the things that you bring to the table, Riverside Physical Therapy, Joe Lambiot, City National Bank. You can continue naming Food Fair, McDonald's. I mean, we use Twitter to just continue to not only publicize ourselves, but to publicize everyone in the community, because truly Fairland football, and I've tried to make this since I've been here known that Fairland football is not only about the coaching staff and the players, it's about the whole community of Fairland. We want the old coaches. I mean, let's look up here. I'm sitting in between two of the former coaches here at Fairland right now, and that's an honor for me. And and just to be able to sit down with those guys and to use media to do those things. And it's definitely been one of the great aspects of things where you can just touch base with college coaches. So it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think anyone that follows Coach Cunningham on Twitter sees, he's actively engaged, very active on there, and I think it's great for the program. So the next question, how we build off of that is, what is it that you guys are saying, hey, this is what we have to do tonight to win the ball game?
Let's be honest. You watch this Portsmouth pull in here. I mean, they know what they have. They have Rowe. They got the best quarterback in the conference. It is what it is. I mean, the guy. I heard somebody compare him to Johnny Manziel and a lot of different things. Johnny Manziel was pretty special. Rowe's a very, very good quarterback. I think the one thing that you have to do with him is you have to get him on the ground. I mean, he seems like a magician out there when you put the film on, and he's elongating plays. He's making plays with his legs, and, he gets the ball out of his hands quick. He does a lot of good things. So it starts with him, but, their football team's not only based on Rowe. I mean, they got great athletes at the receiver group. I mean, and all those things will be on display tonight. But, our job, we have a challenging task ahead of us, but, we prepare for chaos every week, so we're excited about the challenge, and we know that we have one big in front of us, but we can't wait till 7 o'clock gets here.
So Coach, what's it like for you pregame wise? I mean, we got 98 minutes till kickoff. As an ex-player, I know it's a big difference going from coach to player. What's it feel like? What's it like being the head coach of the Fairland Dragons, getting the team ready, and what's that pregame feel like for you as a head coach now?
It's definitely different. I mean, as a player, I was responsible for me. And, when I was a player, I wanted to find the furthest away corner from everything that was going on. I'm going to put my gospel music on, and I'm going to be sitting in the corner, and I'm going to be listening to it. Everybody gets ready for the game in different ways. I mean, mine was – one part of it definitely wasn't effective because we would pregame meal, and I would go to McDonald's afterwards. Because I had to have my hot fudge sundae. So, and then I had my gospel music over in the corner just to I wanted to relax, and that's the way that I got my mind right to play. As a coach, I'm responsible for everyone. So it's a lot different. And I had to change and adapt as a coach because today's student athletes are just different. I mean, they get ready, and, I thought the locker room's supposed to be quiet. You're supposed to be thinking about the game. Some of these kids, man, it's just shell-shocking some of the things that they want to do and to get ready. So I've definitely had to adjust my way of thinking and not make it only about me and understand that they get ready in a different manner. So I've had to definitely adjust a lot. But, we try to – we still try to make sure we're going over tips for the game and different things of that nature. And, the hay's in the barn right now. I mean, we're just, we're just making sure we get here. We pregame meal. We sit down. We talk about tips. And then we just have a little fellowship together. And then I give them their own time. And then we get out here and just do our pregame and get ready to play.
And my last question for you, when a lot of people might know this, might not know this, but you coach a lot of games in football cleats. Talk a little bit around that. It's one of my favorite things I've seen you do since you've been here. What happened with that? What started that, and what made that the Coach Cunningham go-to game day look?
Man, look,
Coach Harris, I believe you and I've been in some cleats before out here on this field.
Hey, listen, listen, everybody cries about our field. We tell they give it all kind of names. We call it the concrete palace, but I've heard it called the mud pit, the whatever. It's all kind of names, but we just tell them we're pigs around here, man. We play with patience, intelligence, and guts, and we're fine with the way it looks, man. So so my big thing is let's be honest. On rainy days like this, I'm not wearing my tennis shoes out there. Let's be honest. So I start wearing cleats, but I wear them every practice. So it's just something that I've done because as a coach, I feel, for me, I'm a hands-on coach, man. I try to get out there and we demonstrate, and I'm in the mix with these kids a lot, and so for me to
That'll
do
go
that,
away
I
in a
have
few
to,
years.
That's right.
Hey, well, I think
When you're out picking
honestly,
an extra point with them and your quad hams up on you, and you're just going to be,
listen.
oh no, I'm not going to do that anymore.
That's
Well,
exactly what
I'll tell you
happened to me.
this. Hey, listen. I pulled 2 hamstrings since I've been here, so I definitely get it. I mean, I know it's going to go away, but I think when it goes away, I'm probably going to go away as well. I mean, that's just the way I am. I like being hands-on, but I mean, it's harder now. And I mean, I remember, it started as Riley Sowards was a senior here. He started challenging me, and I used to get out there prior to him, and I was good. You know what I mean? And then as the years continued to add up, man, Riley was out here. He beat me once, and it became one of those things. He was always talking, and so now I just tell him I can be as good once as I ever was. I just can only do it one time, so I have to pick that day. So I pick the day, and when the day's on, and I feel good. I mean, my body feels. You know how you get them days you feel like
Toby Keith, baby, all the way. I'm
look
as
at
good
you.
as I once was.
What do you think about me knowing country?
Country?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to get you on the golf course. That's what I want to do.
Well, I can tell
Well, he does have 6 Saturdays and a Sunday every week. He's told me that more than once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look
He
at
retired.
it.
Hey,
I
now
know.
listen, I know you got to go, but I want to ask you one question because Coach Harris and I have talked about this. Now, we haven't talked about it on the air really, but when he and I coached, the rules and things were different.
Mm-hmm.
We had contact almost every day. And I know now that the state, and I know this is for all the teams, has limited the amount of contact. How do you think that's changed the way you approach the game and how that's changed the game at all?
Well, I think you can see it from the professional levels all the way down to the youth league levels. I mean, tackling's kind of a lost art. Well, and not only is tackling a lost art, I think some of the rules itself is taking away tackling. Man, you can't hit people. You gotta, I mean, it's kind of it's getting to more of a 2-hand touch game.
Well,
I mean, it's still physical, it's still combative, but just it's hard to teach tackling when you can't tackle.
Right.
I mean, we go through drills. We and a lot of non-contact things, teaching them to to widen and quicken, to attack the hip. I mean, just some of the things that we teach since I've been here. But there's nothing like shooting your arms through somebody and finishing a tackle. But hey, hopefully tonight, those little drills that we did on air, hopefully it comes to play tonight, because if it does, I think we got a great chance of winning.
Last week, Coach Harris and I watched from the press box Cam Kitts light that kid up, and I'm gonna tell you what, in football, for me, I want to see a good hit. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys, that's what football is.
Yeah.
And I love to watch long touchdown runs. I love to watch. Xander had a great run, but you know what? Coach Harris and I both in that just bam. I mean, he laid that, and the kid bounced up.
Slobber knocker.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the one thing I will say. I mean, I have to tip my hat to our secondary. I mean, if you watch this play all year, Cam Kitts, like you said, I mean, freshman, he's tackling well. Stiller Leap's playing out of his mind at the safety position. I'll be honest with you.
He's played well.
The game is slowed down for him, and he's doing special things. And I don't think people understands how well that young man's truly playing. I mean, he's coming up from the safety position, making tackles at 5 yards.
There's a
picking
nice
people up
pick
off
he
their
had,
feet,
too. He broke on that
picking
ball.
off passes. And then, you know.
You're going to need some of those tonight.
Zion Martin. I mean, you know, I was speaking to actually Ricky Shifko the other day, and he was talking. He's like, man, that, you know, he said, I've been really impressed with that young man and how he's came along, and each week how he's getting better. And then J.D. Brumfield. Is that all you have to say? You know, it's crazy. I mean, he, you know.
I think JD's probably the premier player in the area.
He's the best player in the area, but you know what? He's 5'9", and all the, you know, college programs want to say, oh, he's 5'9". You know, it's kind of crazy. You know, I guess you know, the bottom line is, ain't our goal to win football games? This kid's a winner, man. He's the best player in the county. I don't care what side of the river you want to put him on.
I got a
He's
new
still
saying
good.
for him, Coach. It's the old Mark Jackson. You know who that is? Mark Jackson. He's a basketball analyst, and he's got a saying, and it's perfect for J.D. Brumfield. Mama, there goes that man.
Hey, I want to hear it used tonight. I want to hear it used.
Oh, last week.
Hey.
You
You
used it last
missed it.
week. You got to start watching the post game.
That's right.
Or the
Man, you don't have to call me out, man. How you know I don't watch it? I just
because
may
you
have
would have
missed
known
that.
after that 64-yard touchdown.
You were a coach. How do we watch the games, really?
Well,
On mute. I just call it, man.
That's true.
Hey, because I don't wait.
That's how we catch
wait a
the
minute.
stats.
The love I have for you two, if I let it play loud, I'm gonna be just watching, listening to you all. Hey,
Yeah.
Coach Gorby hired me to win football games around here, and you know, and I understand that I'm just
Well, I'm hoping I get to use that 2 or 3 times tonight, Coach.
I like it, Mama.
Mama, there goes that man.
There goes that man. Well,
And
I tell
he
you
is
what,
a man.
Mama. There goes that man.
All right.
Hey,
Hey,
I
good luck
appreciate
tonight,
you guys,
Coach.
man. Hey, thank
Hey,
you.
Good luck.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes,
We
sir.
appreciate you.
Hey, go get that win,
Yes,
Coach.
sir.
All right, everybody. Next, we thank Coach Cunningham. We got the AD, Coach Jeff Gorby. Now, let's give you a little bit of background about Coach Gorby. He played football for Coach Harris. He played center. He was an assistant coach with me in middle school. He was my defensive coordinator when I was coaching high school. I won't tell you about when I had him in school. He can tell you that one. But we kind of let's introduce Jeff Gorby. He's AD here at Fairland High School.
You know,
We're glad
he
we're
was
glad
my
to have you
assistant
here.
coach, too.
That is right. I forgot.
And I think we got to give him credit for being the hardest working AD in the OVC. A lot of people don't realize he does the stats page and a lot of stuff behind the scenes the man does as the athletic director here at Fairland that, you know, not only benefits the athletes at Fairland, but the whole OVC. So we got to give him a little plug on that, too.
By the way, did you bring us the new stat page for this week?
I believe I gave you that page on Tuesday. If not, we'll get you a new
Oh,
one here in a
well,
little
I
bit.
thought that was an old one. I
Oh,
could
he
be
was
wrong.
questioning.
Hey,
But,
he was
wait a minute,
questioning that.
Coach, another question is, do we have an air conditioner up there in that part of the box yet?
I don't know, but I forgot my floor fan. We don't. I was going
we
to
do
bring
have
one.
one air conditioner. It may not be close to you
But
guys.
it seems like it's a little more like football weather tonight, so I don't think we'll burn up like we have the last game. How about that sun down South Point?
Oh,
Was that brutal or what?
it was bad. All right. Coach, go ahead and take us and start us here. And then I've got something, and Ricky's got a couple things he's
Okay.
going to talk to him about.
Okay, Jeff, I know it's like Ricky said, you're one of the hardest working ADs. We appreciate all you do, but give us a little insight on just like game day today. What exactly? I mean, I know the bell rings at 3 o'clock, but you probably don't go home. I don't know. You might go home and come back, but it's pretty quick. So give us a little idea about
It is pretty quick, but I wish the day started at 3 o'clock. You know, my day starts at about 10 minutes after 7. I drop my 2 girls off to West, and I walk right into the high school and start selling pre-sale tickets, start getting rosters ready, start getting our paperwork ready. Coach Cunningham and I usually have about a 15-minute powwow in the morning, and we talk about football, we talk about life, we talk about kids, we talk about statistics, we talk about OVC, and then we usually finish that conversation up at some point in time with, all right, Coach, what are your thoughts? What are your feels for tonight? And one of the things he told me this morning that stuck out, he said, Jeff, I've been up since 2 a.m. He said, I'm so excited for this ball game tonight. I've been up forever, and we're prepared. We're ready to go. So, 3 o'clock rolls around, bell rings, we're still selling tickets. Big shout out to Renee Marshall and Tim Hayes. They're down there on the Dragon. They're helping me sell tickets as kids are coming up. I run home for about 10 minutes or so, get a quick bite to eat, quick snack, back down here at the stadium, finishing up my paperwork and getting ready for the games.
Well, a couple things I want to ask you here real quick, and I jotted them down here. What were your thoughts when we hired Coach Cunningham? He went 0-15 before winning his first game. Oh, can I wait? Let me give you a second part to that. And how has your thoughts changed, or what have you seen since that first victory, besides his 31-16 record so far?
You know, Coach, we're 0-10 that first season. Chad Belleville and I sat down at the end of the year, and I just looked at Coach Belleville and I said, "What do you think?" And immediately, both of us responded, "This is our guy." You know, even though he's 0-10, he's changing the culture here at Fairland. He's changing everything that we do here, and you could see that from day one when he stepped on campus. You know, Melvin got a late start for us. We hire him. He's still living down in Mingo County. He's still teaching down there. June and July, he's trying to get moved in. He's trying to get his family up here, finding a place to live. So he really doesn't set foot on the football field in the weight room until August 1st, our first day of practice. So, you know, we joked the other day about, and he said, "Jeff, he said, I'm going to be honest with you." He said, "I bet I was in mid-September before I learned half of my kids' names." He goes, "Hey, I'm just holding number 12. You go, you know, whatever." So I knew at that point in time the culture was changing. The next year we start off 0-5. We go to Gallipolis, and I told him we started. It was the very first year we started the Coal Bucket Traveling Trophy with Gallipolis. I told him that night. I said, "Coach, we're bringing this trophy home with us." I said, Fairland didn't pay out of pocket to have this trophy painted, to get this trophy, for us to turn around and hand it to Gallipolis. I said, "You're getting your first win." And from there on, it's been downhill. I mean, it's been just a landslide of victories. The program's changed. We're sending kids to the next level to play. Coach has done an outstanding job of turning this program around.
So Jeff, I think, you know, a lot of times, not only being as the athletic director, you also, you know, you're an ex-football coach, and you know, it's probably hard to not align yourself with the coach's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at these games and the schedule as it gets made, you know, what is it about OVC play that excites you? Looking at, you know, building an out-of-conference schedule, OVC play, what does it mean to you to have the Fairland Dragons in the OVC?
You know, one of the things we talked about, Ricky, and you and I have talked about it not only for football, we've talked about it for basketball, that out-of-conference schedule. What can we do? Where can we put our kids on the big stage? Football, it's a little bit more difficult because if you don't get a victory, then you could miss the playoffs. Whereas basketball, you go play those to get your challenge. As for the league, probably the best thing the OVC has done, and I'm probably Coach Carroll and Coach Harris would both agree, the addition of Ironton, Portsmouth, Gallia made this league so much stronger and so much better than what it was back a few years ago. So the excitement is when you get into the league, you're playing for a league championship. And we preach from day one, since I took over 8 years ago, the most important thing that we can do is we have to put numbers on the banners in the gym. That's our ultimate goal. Football, we want to put a playoff number up there every year. That's our goal. We want to put a conference championship up there every year. We know that we may not be able to do that each and every year, but that's our ultimate goal.
And I think ultimately when people look back over your 8 years, you've been blessed. You've been putting a lot of numbers up there as the athletic director across all the different sports. And you know, with it being a football show tonight, obviously going back into your coaching background, you know, looking at, we just saw Portsmouth get off the bus. I mean, that's a team that looks focused to me. What do you think is the key to Portsmouth winning the ball game tonight? If you're Portsmouth, what are you telling your kids? How are you going to come out of here with a win in the Concrete Palace?
You know, if I'm Coach Cobb, the first thing I'm telling them is, look, probably our best defense tonight is our offense. We have to stay on the field. We can't play behind the chains. We can't give Fairland a chance to put the ball in J.D. Brumfield's hands, to put the ball in Xander Schmidt's hands, to Steeler Leaps and Owen. We can't give those guys opportunities to go 60, 70, 80 yards on us and break our back. We have to stay on the field offensively and keep them off the field. I think that's the biggest key. And you know, and you flip that script a little bit. Fairland's got to make some plays and get Portsmouth behind the chains. You know, we've got to be able, when we see those bubble screens coming, we got to be able to step up. That first step, our corners, outside linebackers got to understand, hey, that's a bubble screener. He's a step back slip screen. We've got to get up and play it. We can't be playing 8-9 yards and bailing on the first step.
Yeah, so I think one thing that you know is kind of fun for you as an old DC, put yourself in the DC shoes tonight. How are you stopping Rowe in this high-powered Portsmouth offense? I mean, they've got 4 kids in the top 10 in the OVC in reception yards. They've got the leading passer in the league. How are you strapping up to stop this defense?
I know.
Or offensive?
I know as defense coordinator and working with Coach Carroll and some things. Probably the first thing is we're going to give some different looks. Whether we're not going to set in just a straight cover 3, a man coverage or whatever. We're going to give some different looks. We're going to give some bump and run looks. Athlete per athlete, I think we can match up. Portsmouth's got some great athletes, but I also know, hey, on the other side, Green and White's got some tremendous athletes too. So we can match up man to man. We're going to switch coverages a lot. We're going to put some pressure on him up front. Our big guys up front, Alec DeMint, R.J. Ward, Casey McComas, those guys are going to put some pressure on Rowe and make him make some plays. Get him scrambling, and let's make him throw the ball vertical instead of just these little dunks and dinks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's going to be the exciting thing to watch tonight is how Fairland matches Portsmouth's offense and what Portsmouth does to slow down the Fairland offense. So what are you looking at if you're Fairland? What's your keys to victory tonight for the Fairland Dragons to come out of the Concrete Palace with another win and one step closer to a high playoff seed?
And I think as we flip that script a little bit, we looked at, again, it's ball control. We've got to be able, J.D. Brumfield, great player, had the opportunity. I was talking to his dad a little bit. His dad and I are great friends. We played a year together in high school. He was a senior my freshman year. Johnny kind of tucked me under his wing a little bit and said, hey, you're the little scrawny freshman, you're the lineman, but we're going to take care of you, And so talking to Johnny today, I said, I see a lot of you in your son, or I see a lot of your son in you, however you want to say that, in the mental toughness and the ability to go run the ball and be a great running back. Johnny played a little bit of everything. Coach Harris can tell you, Johnny may start out wearing 50 back in the day, and then by the end of the night, he's wearing number 5, or he's taking a wildcat snap.
He got that from his dad, too. I played with his dad, and his dad was a tough nut.
Yeah.
From Athalia, I got a lot of shout-outs tonight.
He's from L.A.
From Lower Athalia.
Lower Athalia.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Get that right.
Right.
So, but again, I think JD's a big key. Xander's a big key. If we can set that edge, Coach Harris and I had a little conversation earlier, and I don't want to steal his thunder because I know he's going to come out here
ahead.
And take it. But again, I think he made a perfect comment. If we can set the edge, get JD to the edge tonight, I think that's a key to our victory right there. It's moving the football and setting that edge.
So obviously we probably know what you're going to say, but we can't let you go without a prediction. What is the AD's prediction tonight for the Fairland Dragons Portsmouth Trojans matchup?
As I walked around this field here, I was putting out pylons, I was putting up pads, and no one here in the stadium, but just a couple has-been coaches and some players out here.
We're also affectionately known as Old Codgers.
Old Codgers.
Right, the Old Codgers.
I'm thinking a lot about the history and everything. 42-35 Dragons.
All right, there we
Wow.
go. We heard it from the
heard
AD.
it, and,
42-35.
Coach, we got to let you go. Everybody, we want to kind of have, I don't want to say it's a shout out, but we had a young man that we've all know. He played basketball for me in middle school. He passed away this week, Zach Dunn, and we're having a little thing down at the funeral home tonight, and I'm not going to get to go. I know Coach Gorby's going to go down and give my regards, but we just want to kind of, keep that family in your prayers. That's tough.
It definitely tough. Heartbreaking news. His uncle, one of my best friends, my travel partner, travels with me everywhere.
Stopped and saw him today.
And the family's really, really taking it hard. So I'm going to go down and pay my respects.
I know you need to also mention that his uncle has to be one of the biggest Fairland supporters that's come through this place.
Killer's he's the man. He's the legend here. Everybody knows him affectionately. Everybody smiles when they see him. So we're going to go down and pay our respects and let Killer know that the Dragon Nation's with him tonight.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
And we'll see you here in a little bit.
Sorry. See you.
All right, everybody. Well, hey, we got kind of something special here today.
Yes.
AP, come on over here. We've got a guest athlete here today.
We're going to have a couple more, too.
That's right. And right here's Aiden AP Porter. He's one of our basketball players. Okay, here. And AP played a little bit of receiver for me back in middle school. They suckered me into coaching there a couple of years. And AP, still mad at you for dropping that touchdown slant that we had out at Memphis. I haven't forgotten that. But
I caught it, but I fumbled it.
that's true. That's
fair.
all right. Hey, let's talk about basketball. Just for change up here, just for a little bit.
Yeah.
We wanted to get you some time here and talk to you a little bit about basketball. I'm not going to go about all the accolades that you've gotten because you've earned those.
Yeah.
Now, we've watched you, and you've earned what you've got. But
Yeah.
what I want to ask you is, what is the expectation you have for yourself, and more than that, for your team this season?
Coming into it, like my freshman year, the expectation was always the same: just be the best leader and teammate I can be for everybody out there and whatnot. I mean, if I score this many points or that many points this game, it doesn't matter as long as we just get the win. And like I said, the expectation for our team has always been the same too. I mean, you want to win the conference. We've won it, 6, 7 years in a row now. You don't want to be that team that breaks that, you know what I mean? So this year, win the conference, obviously, but we've always got to that regional final, but we've never gotten over that hump. So this year, I mean, going to state would be my biggest thing.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I think you guys could have gone over that hump a couple years ago, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID stopped everything, and there's a lot of excitement here, and you've played with some daggone good players.
Oh, absolutely. Clayton Thomas, Jacob Paulson, Jordan Williams, Ian Chin, Matt Monlack, great guys. Absolutely.
Coach, I know you had something for him.
Okay, you have signed with Rio Grande.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is how that recruiting process took place, what you liked about the coaching staff or the facilities, and just run through that with us about how that occurred.
Yeah, last year we were playing Portsmouth, and after the game, whatever, Coach Airwood, the new coach at Rio, came up to me. We talked for a little bit, and he said we were going to stay in touch and whatnot. And they were actually the first school that came to a game and anything like that started recruiting me. And all throughout AAU, we'd go to Indiana, Pennsylvania. It didn't matter. They were there. They were at every single thing. They were at practices, always on the phone with them, always talking, whatnot, constantly in touch. Didn't matter. And I took my visit up there, I think, in late June. And soon, after the visit, I just kind of knew that's where I wanted to go. I mean, it felt like home. The guys very.
And a good thing is your parents can go and not
Yeah,
have to travel all over
absolutely.
the place
Yeah.
to watch you play. So I think you made a good decision. They play good basketball.
Yeah,
too.
Coach Airwood, I mean, his first year there, I think he got one recruit, took the same guys from the year before that I don't even think they finished top 3 in the conference. Got second in the conference, made the national tournament for the first time in, I think, 17 years, won a game and everything. So, I mean, I'm excited for sure.
AP, man, you and I talk all the time. So I know we talk hoops all the time. And first of all, I'll say Rio Grande's getting the best player in Southern Ohio. Probably the state of Ohio, in my opinion, man. I always hype you up. So we're going to transition, man, into football talk with you tonight.
Yeah,
So obviously you play for the best basketball coach in the area.
absolutely.
Now if you were a football player, what is it that would make you want to play for Coach Cunningham? I know you guys have a good relationship.
Yeah.
What is it that would make you want to play for him?
Just that excitement, dude. I love the passion for the game, the way he loves it, the way he treats those guys, the way they're a team. They're not just a team, they're a family. You know what I mean? You're going out there, everybody's got each other's backs. I mean, that's just how it is. And I love, on Fridays, coming into school, Coach Cunningham running up and down the halls, screaming. His love for the game would make me want to play for him, for sure.
Yeah, so I know there's been a lot of rumors about you playing football. So constantly that was the talk. So if you were playing, where would we see AP at? Would you be wearing number 1, and also what position would you be playing?
Receiver, hopefully. I think I got pretty good hands. So, I mean, I'll be receiver. Hopefully wearing number 1, yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I know that you played against a lot of these Portsmouth guys in basketball. What do you think it's going to take for Portsmouth to win the ball game tonight?
I mean, they always have great athletes, you know what I mean? But, I mean, it's different. It's a little rainy, whatnot, and I know Portsmouth loves to throw the ball, but I don't know if they'll be able to stop J.D. Brumfield coming in the middle of that hole. I don't think anybody around here can.
Hey, that's probably the OVC Player of the Year,
Absolutely.
according to a lot of people. So, the question for you, man, what is it going to take for the Fairland Dragons to win?
Just go out there and play as a team. That's all it takes for them. I mean, they're definitely the more skilled team. They have great athletes, great coaching. They just got to execute.
You can talk one football player into playing basketball. Who you picking and why? And this is a guy that does not play basketball.
That's a tough one. Probably J.D. Brumfield, man. I mean, him go in there, just battle with those guys down low, with 5 quick fouls. I think him.
So you think JD would use up all 5 every night?
Oh, absolutely. He did in middle school. Absolutely. Every
Now,
night.
AP, let me tell you a little secret about that guy sitting right beside you. Because that guy sitting there right beside you always had an enforcer on his bench when he was playing basketball. He always had a J.D. Brumfield sitting on his bench. So he's going to sit here and laugh about it, but I watched him for many years, and I know what he did.
Sometimes you just can't let people run over you.
That's right.
You gotta fight back.
Yeah, you gotta
you put a
enforce
dog
it.
in a corner, sooner or later he's gonna bite you.
That's right.
So AP, man, we're gonna give you one here. What do you got as a final prediction tonight? Portsmouth, Fairland, what's your score, and who's gonna be your player of the game?
Fairland 36-7, and Cam Kitts is gonna Cam Kitts is gonna come out and shut down their top receiver tonight.
All right.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Well, AP, man, we appreciate you coming, taking time to talk to us.
Yes, sir.
And, hopefully we'll be getting to do some of your basketball games like we did last year.
Yep.
So, who knows, maybe we'll get to chat again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody, this young man scored 1,000 points, the first Fairland player ever to do it in his junior season. He's still got another year to go. So I really enjoy watching you play, and I always thought, man, I'd like to see that kid in football uniform.
I appreciate it.
All righty, AP. You go and join everybody out here in your tailgate, and let's enjoy your white out tonight.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the game, brother.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Well, guys, moving on. It's just us three for a little bit. So I'm going to ask you all some questions, and you guys kind of give me your thoughts on what we think about here. So let's talk about Fairland. Let's talk about the run game. And you guys take turns, whatever, but what do you think Fairland has to do to establish the run game tonight?
Well, they got to have a good dose of J.D. Brumfield, and with this line that they have, and I'm so impressed with their offensive, defensive lines. I talked to Melvin earlier in the year, and he said this was the first year that he didn't have to play offensive linemen on the defensive line, although some of them do, but he is very deep on the offensive and defensive lines, and that's going to be a key, and it's going to be a tough road for Portsmouth to handle all that freshness that the Dragons can bring to their game tonight. So I look for them to, if they don't load up the box, then J.D. Brumfield's going to have a heyday tonight.
Yeah, I think building off what Coach Harris said, it's real simple. For me, if I'm Fairland, I line up. First thing I'm doing as a quarterback is I'm counting. If there's 5, 6 in the box, I'm running the ball all night long, and I'm going to let those offensive linemen eat. Because, I mean, if you got numbers in the box, you take off and you run it if you're Fairland. I think what Fairland can really do to create even more dominance in the run game, obviously that we mentioned J.D. Brumfield, who's having an amazing season. I wouldn't be surprised to see more Cam Kitts tonight. Last week in South Point, he hit one, what was about 18, 20 yards, where he hit the hole as quick as anyone I've seen all year. And we know that Coach Cunningham comes in and runs some different Wildcat sets. And I think realistically, watching Portsmouth on film and knowing what they do, they run. Coach, they what is it they say? If you don't have an identity, you just pick whatever. Defensively, you're going to see them anywhere from a one-man front to a 6-4 and crowd in the box, and I think that's going to be the key to Fairland is identifying what Portsmouth's doing and finding out, hey, where's our lanes, who can we pound the rock with, and I wouldn't be surprised to see J.D. Brumfield have a big night for Fairland, running the ball again. Last week I think he lost, 200 yards on penalties, so you add those in, and I think he can have a big night. The other thing, you mentioned it earlier, Fairland's offensive line is as good as we've seen at Fairland in a long time. And getting those guys, helmet on helmet and making the blocking scheme simple. I think that's what Coach Cunningham's really done a great job of adapting here. It's simple. You block big on big and you find a gap and you let your athletes go.
Let's not forget about Zion Martin. I'm impressed with him as well as Cam Kitts. And Peyton Jackson has been making some great decisions on the option. They run that speed option to the right or left, and Jackson knows when to pitch it and he knows when to turn it up, and he's had some really good ball games.
He's been phenomenal on that zone read, where they just read the backside D end with him, and you can tell that as a runner he's very comfortable there. And I think when you watch his head, you can see he's going straight to the D end. He's reading it, and he's done a very good job making that correct read on the zone read as well. So you add him, and when you're counting 5 or 6 in the box, you add the quarterback in as a runner. it's pretty tough to stop.
I'll tell you my one take on this, and that's as an old football coach, you got to stop penetration from a defensive lineman or you ain't going to be able to run the ball. We have got to control them penetrating the line of scrimmage. We have to control that line. If they get penetration, we won't be able to run the ball.
Well, that's what I like most about Fairland is their line, and I think that they'll, you go down there and play Ireton the way they played Ireton, go up to Columbus and the way they play Columbus, and those are good football schools. One's a Division III, the other Division V. Portsmouth tonight's Division V. We're not playing any slouch, but
No.
neither are they.
No, that's true. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the passing game. Ricky, I want you talk about this first, and we'll let Coach finish up. Where do you think, offensively passing, that we attack the Portsmouth defense? Do you think it's outside? Is it the middle of the field? I mean, we've talked about all the different fronts they play, so how do you know what kind of coverage they're going to have? How are we going to attack them?
Yeah, so I think what's going to be very difficult tonight, having watched them played Waverly early in the year, Waverly's an offense that relays on the quarterback getting the ball out of his hand, hitting his third step, and making a read. When you watch Portsmouth's coverages, it might look like cover 3, and they might be in man, and then it looks like they're in cover 2, and then the corner's bailing out, and they're coming in 4. So I think the first thing you're going to have to see is Peyton's going to have to be very quick at making sure he's making the correct read. He lines up, and if the corner's 12 yards off the ball and Coach Cunningham comes out in a twin set or a trip set, hey, let's get the ball to the flat immediately. Let's make sure we're reading what they're doing. And I think the other thing that Fairland does a really good job of in the passing game that's really giving a lot of teams fits is when they line up in that trips, most teams aren't adapting to it, and they're running 2 guys covering 3, and I'm not the best at math, but I know 3 on 2, I'm going to have somebody open.
That's right.
And I think for Peyton, he's just got to trust what he's seeing. The ball's got to come out of his hand on time, and he's got to attack the openings. I think with what Portsmouth does well, they're athletic as heck. 4, the one corner, 11, the safety. Those 2 are players, and he can't let them trick him because they're going to try to get him rattled. They're going to try to pump up the noise and get him moving, and they're going to disguise a lot of their coverages. They're not going to be they're obvious, but it's not obvious when you're starting to get rattled. And if I'm Portsmouth, my whole goal is I'm going to make you beat us as a quarterback, throwing the ball and finding the openings, and we're going to try to disguise where it's going to be. So to answer your question, hopefully it's going to be quick in the flats. I think we could see a big night from the Fairland screen game as well, which all year long the screen game's been effective.
That was the point I was going to make was the screens. We run that little screen to JD, and we have to pick our spots, but I think that can be effective, and I think we need to throw the ball downfield. I've seen Stigler go down the middle, and he's been open a couple times. We've missed him. Get a good read and take what the defense is going to give us. And I think Peyton Jackson is very capable. The thing I like most about him is he doesn't get rattled, although, you're talking about Portsmouth trying to rattle him. He's a kid that, as a sophomore, has shown that he can shake off adversity as well as anybody, much like a senior.
Well, I'm going to agree with you guys. I think it's all about poise and making the right read and taking what the defense gives you. And he's got, as Ricky said, you've got to read that corner. You've got to read that outside linebacker. You've got to read that safety, depending on if you're 3x2 or 2x2 or whatever you are. You've got to look and see what they're going to give you. Okay, so let's go. Let's see what time we got here. All right, we got time.
Can we get back with one more point on that? I think just watching Portsmouth right now, it's they always say as a coach, you run offensively what you struggle with. And if you watch them, they run a lot of screens. Everything's designed with a bubble, the spot. And for Fairland tonight, I think it's just getting the ball to those athletes as quickly as possible, too. Because if you watch these guys, the ball's out of Rowe's hand on time, and they're trying to get their guys in space as quickly as possible. Okay. And that's another thing that I think Fairland's offensive linemen, believe it or not, can have a huge impact on the passing game, especially in that screen game. So,
okay, let's talk about defense. What does Fairland need to do to slow down this Portsmouth offense, Coach? And we're going to start with you.
Okay, I talked with Melvin about this. I think I talked with you about this. Fairland defensive line has got to control line of scrimmage and get good penetration, but I think the key is going to be the defensive ends. The defensive ends have to set the post. What we're talking about there is you can't let that quarterback get outside. That is when he is most effective. He will throw a 10-yard pass that will turn into a 30, 40, 50-yard play because he has athletes that can catch the ball. They're the top 4 receivers in the OVC with the least amount of yard per catch being 11 yards. So that's, you're talking about every kid catching the ball is catching it at first down level. So I think the key is going to be the defensive ends and the line penetration. I think our defensive backs are just as skilled as their receivers. We just have to make sure we get kids on the ground.
Okay. All right. Anything else you guys want to add on that at all?
I think for Fairland tonight, everyone in the league's talking about Rowe and what he does with the football in his hands, and the coach from Rock Hill compared him to Johnny Manziel. And I think if we all remember back to when Johnny Manziel was dominating college football, Johnny Manziel wasn't throwing the ball on a 3-step drop. Johnny Manziel wasn't throwing the ball on a 5-step drop. Johnny Manziel was making guys miss, getting outside on the edges. And what Johnny Manziel was doing was he was extending plays. I think for Fairland tonight, something that we haven't seen him do much this year is defend a running quarterback that actually is trying to get the ball downfield. If I'm Fairland, I'm pressing my corners. I'm trying to make Rowe throw the ball downfield because if you look at a lot of their yards this year, it's been run after the catch.
Right. You know what I think? I want to pop in on here. I think Fairland has to keep Rowe in the pocket. They cannot let him get outside. And that goes back to what Coach said about setting the post. These DNs cannot let him get outside at all.
Well, and I think, as a quarterback, he's not the tallest guy in the league. And Fairland's got a lot of length on the inside. So if our defensive line get hands up and make him have to throw the ball out of the pocket around hands, not just a clean pocket, but if we can get hands up, get balls batted, we can create a lot of turnovers tonight in the passing game because he has shown that he is prone to throwing interceptions if you can keep him in the pocket. And I think that's the huge thing is, your DNs have to stay good assignment football, and you can't let him be the best athlete on the field because evidently a lot of teams will let him be the best athlete on the field, and he's dissected a lot of defenses this year. You don't throw 1,800 yards or 1,700 yards and 20-some touchdown passes without finding guys that are open.
Right. Okay. Well, guys, we got a couple more guests.
Yes,
ladies,
look forward to it.
Come on over and join us.
I don't know, both of you can sit on this chair or what?
Oh, yeah, they
Here,
can.
I'll give them my chair.
They can come right in and sit down
Yeah,
here.
sit down,
Come
girls.
on.
I just leave it there. I'll move down.
Come on, Bree. Come in here. We're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 2 young ladies representing the high school girls basketball team here, and you all grab you a microphone there. You all can talk. This is Kylie Bruce. This is Bree Allen. I'll brag on them. I know both of them. They both played some basketball for me. They're fine, upstanding young ladies in the community, right, Bree? Okay. All right. We are Coach Harris is going to talk to you guys a little bit and ask you a few little things. You all see me every day and talk to me, so you don't want to talk to me. So here, you take it away, Coach.
Bree, good to see you. My old referee buddy here, Kylie Bruce. Girls, what exactly is your expectation for this year's girls basketball team? You go ahead and start, Bree, if you like.
Well, last year we made it. Last year we made it to the sectional semifinal, or was it district semifinal? And we want to make it to regional this year, right? Regional. Yeah, we want to make it farther this year and win the OVC, obviously. But we want to just keep going, and we want to see if we can go undefeated this year.
What's your thoughts, Kylie?
The same for about the team expectations, but my personal expectations are to stay consistent this year and not go through any drought games where I'm doing really bad.
Well, last year was your first year as a freshman, correct?
Yeah.
And both of you. Bree, you had an outstanding year. I think you had a learning process year where I think you realize now that you can make an impact on how your team is playing. Defensively, I thought you did great. I thought you did a real good job controlling the boards at times. Bree, you had an outstanding offensive season. I look for you girls to be pretty doggone tough again this year. So, and you're getting some players in that can help you. So, not just this year, but next year, woo, look out, people. All right, Bree, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I heard that you played football when you was younger. What was that experience like?
Well, I played at Sims Valley first through about 4th grade. I was quarterback some and running back. It was really fun. I liked it a lot. We didn't win many games because we were out at Sims Valley, but it was fun. I really liked it, enjoyed it.
So when you took a hit, when you're running the ball, running back and quarterback, you just bounce right up?
Yeah, I just kept going.
That's probably why you're so tough down inside on the basketball court. Okay, ladies, we're going to get to some football now. Okay. How do you think the football team has performed up to this point, Kylie?
I thought they've been doing really well. I think they've played a lot as a team. They're not just one person.
I think that they could be undefeated had we not shot ourselves in the foot down in Ironton. This is a really good football team, and this is a good football team we're playing tonight. So I don't want to, put any pressure on you, but let me know what your score prediction is for tonight.
I think mine 34-21 with us winning.
Great. And Bree?
We've agreed on that.
You agree on the same score, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think there are going to be a lot of points put on the board, and I can't give you my prediction yet because we're saving that for later. But girls, we really appreciate it. How do you like working with the young kids? You all are there every Sunday. I referee on Sundays the fall basketball league for kids kindergarten through 6th grade. And Kylie here is there, and Bree is there, except last week Bree kind of overslept. But
Not Bree.
yeah, I couldn't believe she wasn't there. She's always there. But anyway, Kylie carried you. She did a really good job. She carried me too, to tell you the truth. We were refereeing, and she would run from one baseline down the other while I walked from.
Kyle, let me ask you. You've known I've refereed for a lot of years. How do you like reffing? It's not.
It's very tough because you don't know if you made the right call.
Hey,
I hate reffing.
she did a good job. She would make her calls definite. You know how white, green, whatever. She would make the call, and look at me. Good call. Good call.
Hey, Kyle, we all make mistakes. Lord knows I've made my share. And
sure.
Calling a lot of those games, but you know what? You go and play another play.
I'd say she's 95% right.
That's pretty daggone good, because I don't think I'm that good.
She's pretty good. I enjoy working with her on the court, and I really look forward to watching you guys play. Hopefully Coach Carroll and I will get to do a few games on YouTube and the Armstrong channel. And girls, I look for big things out of both of you.
Hey, you know what? We got to ask them one question, Coach.
Go right
Who do
ahead.
you guys think is going to be your toughest competition in the conference this year?
Well, Kylie and I are thinking Rock Hill, even though they're usually not a big competition, because we think that they're going to go after every ball.
They're going to hustle.
They're going to be tough, not they're just going to hustle. They're going to work really hard for it.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, girls, I see you got your whiteout shirts on. I hope that you all enjoy the game tonight. And we've got your prediction written down. So,
Yeah.
And Monday, if you're wrong, I'm going to get on you. All right. Girls, thank you all very much.
Thank you all.
Ladies,
Y'all
thanks
enjoy
for
your
joining us. It was a pleasure to have you. And good luck in the future, ladies.
All right, folks. Well, hey, we've got another guest finally arrived. He's over here looking pretty, talking to everybody. Joe, come and join us. We're waiting on you.
I'm sure glad you got that white shirt on.
That's
buddy.
right.
Oh man, I
All
wish you
right.
had your guitar with you.
Get your microphone right there. Everybody, we got Joe Lambiot, Lambiot Physical Therapy right down here down the road. I actually better say Riverside. I better say it right. But Joe, I'm going to kind of shut up, and Ricky's going to ask you a couple things, and then Coach Harris is going to ask you a couple things, and then we're going to. Then guess what? Did you know you're our guest picker tonight?
No, I didn't know.
Well, you are.
Yeah, you got to pick some games, buddy.
Oh, okay. Hey, I've always got an opinion on something. Nobody usually wants to hear it.
All right, Ricky, take it away.
So Joe, thanks for joining us.
Oh, sure.
To some people, they see you on the sidelines every Friday night, but they don't realize sometimes what all you do with the Fairland football program, as well as for many of the Fairland athletes in the school. give us a little bit of an insight as to what your relationship is with Fairland football and Fairland athletics as a physical therapist here in town.
Okay, well, sure. I wasn't expecting that question, but I'll tell you what's going on. I've been working with the football team for probably 20 years now, about since I opened over here, and we've got a good relationship. I'm a consultant anytime they need evaluation and treatment at the office, where we see these kids anytime they get hurt and offer our opinions and treatments and recommendations and referral services. We help get them to the places they need to be quickly so they can get treated appropriately. And always here looking out for them, basically.
So Joe, you've had it interesting here in terms of your time with Coach Cunningham.
Yep.
Not only did he coach your son, but your son was the quarterback as a freshman on that 0-10 team. Talk a little bit about what you've seen happen with Fairland football since Coach Cunningham's been here, and the ending of them going to the playoffs and that path and journey that you were able to be a part of.
That was an interesting arc. We met up at Roosters the first weekend Melvin came into town, and we sat there and tried to figure out what's going to happen. Joel was coming in as a freshman. We had one other quarterback who was injured the first game with a broken collarbone. So by default in the scrimmage game, Joel got to be he was the freshman quarterback with a very young team and very few seniors, and it was a long, rough year. We didn't win a single game. We came close a few times, but just in that first win the next year was something amazing. And it was quite a climb with Coach Cunningham. It was a rocky start for all of us, but at the playoff game in Joel's senior year, Michael Jackson wrote the pregame speech, and he said, we went from an 0-10 team who couldn't get a playoff in 25 seconds to a team now that's in the playoffs. So, and that was the first time in a long dry spell. So watching Melvin, and he may not admit to it, but I used to talk to him about be Tom Landry. He is a wild firecracker on the sidelines sometimes. His heart is in the game so hard. So watching him develop into a mature coach has been really great over these past 5 or 6 years. And as you can see, things have turned around. Things are getting better and better every year. I don't think there's an 0-10 season in our forecast for a long time.
So I'm going to get you one here. I know it's going to be a stumper maybe. What's been your favorite Fairland football game of the Coach Cunningham era?
Whew, wow. I would say the playoff game, except we got scalded, and it wasn't fun to be there. I would say the game that sprung us into the playoffs a few years ago against Athens would have to be, it was a battle back and forth. It was a high-scoring game. We had a last 2-minute drive down the field to score a long touchdown and put us over the top. It ended up being the game that put us in the playoffs. So it had to be the win over Athens. That's the only game they lost that entire year. And it was a gutsy call on the last play. We threw it to the backside receiver on a big post. And Melvin had been holding on to that play for a long time. I'd heard other people saying, we got to throw backside. He said, just wait. And sure enough, it was a long bomb. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but it was a long, hard-fought game that my lovely wife, Nikki, still watches on YouTube to this day.
It's funny you say that. So we always stand down here in the corner of the end zone. And at halftime of that game, Coach Cunningham actually came down. He said, hey, if it gets tight, I'm going to throw a backside skinny post, and he's told that story many times.
Oh, really?
That, he told everyone on the sidelines about that was the game that he used his Vin Diesel Fast and Furious reference, about saving his turbo booster.
Right.
And the throw from Joel on that one was absolutely perfect, too. I mean, that's what I remember. Joel absolutely threading the needle on a skinny post with probably a throw that, if he would have thrown it a couple inches higher, it would have been too high because Brendan West went down and slid across the back of the end zone. So that one was definitely.
Brendan made a great catch there. That was a great play.
Yeah.
That's the one that sticks out, I have to say.
That's a great memory too, though, because that was a huge game for that team, and I think that was a turning point of this Fairland program, honestly, in terms of believing they could win. Because previously, they would not have won that game.
Right, because that was a big undefeated team that's had a whole bunch of good. They had a great quarterback too. I don't know if you remember that boy. He was a big fella, played really well.
Yeah, right after Joey Burrow. Yeah, right after Burrow, they had that kid come in, and they weren't afraid to throw the football either.
Right.
Okay, I've got one more question for you before we do our game picks.
Okay.
What do you think the final adjustments? You know, both teams. I've seen a lot of games won after halftime because somebody made a great adjustment.
Right.
What adjustments do you think we might have to make tonight as
Well,
far as playing Portsmouth?
I did some research. This is my first time as a professional sports anchor or guest. So I got back on my Huddle account and I watched their last 2 or 3 games, and there's a lot of things I think we can do with them. I don't think they can block us. I think our linebackers are tough. I don't think they can handle our offensive line. They do throw a lot of those little quick hitch routes. They throw a lot of key screens. And the quarterback he's a great quarterback. Kid can run like crazy. He's a great running back. He's a major threat. But those long balls, he floats a little bit. So I think I can see Steeler Leap grabbing a few tonight if he floats them up there.
I think that's one of the keys. We need to get a few picks, maybe even a pick 6.
Well, we've had, Steelers got a couple already this year, and he can get a few more. I think the other thing I noticed is their long snappers a little bit slow. I think we can get to some of these extra points or field goals.
Great.
Guys, I got one I want to talk to everybody about.
All right.
Coach, I think we kind of missed this. When you play on grass and you practice on every day, I feel like that's an advantage
Sure
as
is.
opposed to these guys that play on turf all the time. And I know some people say it doesn't make a difference, blah, blah, but I'm going to tell you, when you got damn conditions and you've been practicing in the grass, you know how to step, how to cut, what kind of leverage to take, as opposed to when you guys are on turf. You all know that's different. What's your thoughts on that, Ricky? What do you think? How do you think that's going to affect the game tonight, or do you think it will?
So first of all, the biggest thing that I think we need to really think about, playing on turf when it's wet, the ball doesn't tend to get as wet as it will on grass.
Right.
And especially, these new GST footballs, once they get wet, they're ruined. And, so that's the first thing. And as a quarterback, when it was wet, I always liked to wear gloves. I didn't have the biggest hands in the world, and it tended to help a ton with grip. But where you really see a ton of the issues is going to be, when you go to grip that ball and really try to gun in a slant or a 3-step hitch, and that ball floats because you got to loosen up your grip as a quarterback. You had to have more air in the pocket per se. So a quarterback generally, when they hold the ball, you want to be able to see some air in between their hand and the football. When it's wet, you're almost gliding that football out of your hand to be able to really throw it when it's wet, and it truly does make a huge difference, the grass with the wetness and what it does to the football. Because once your hand's wet from the grass too, it's hard. Your pants are wet. There's nothing dry on you. You're going to see the centers wearing the long beach towels because, and then the quarterbacks can come up, flip it up by their back. Or we see so much shotgun snaps. And most centers, how well do they do handling a wet football?
That's true.
So that could be a huge impact on the game. And I think, Dave, that's one of the biggest things that could truly impact this for both teams. Fairland's been here, done it, and when it's wet. But for the season, is this the first rainy Friday night we've had?
I think so.
I think so. Coach Harris, what is your feelings on that?
I think Ricky made a great point about the football and the shotgun snaps. That is going to be a key. Will Portsmouth be able to handle those snaps? The center is the key. When you're, I don't think I've seen Peyton Jackson up under center at any time this year. At any time. Although I disagree with that at times. I think we ought to run a little quarterback sneak once in a while. But I don't think he's ever been up under center. So their center, which is Mason Ward.
Mason, he has a great job. You can count on one hand the number of off snaps this year. He stepped up, done a great job.
Yep.
And you know what? When he's had a bad snap, I'll tell you why it's been bad, because his rear end's been up in the air instead of down where it's supposed to be. I mean, that's the key to a shotgun snap when you're the center. You got to keep your rear end down.
Yep. So you can see too.
Yeah, Joe, what do you think about the field?
Well, I've tried everything over the years. We've tried leaf blowers, portable heaters, and everything on the sidelines. And you know what works best? Nothing. After that ball's wet, it's wet. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to hurt them on the quick screen game. Over 50% of their passes are those quick screens, and that quarterback's got a really quick, nice release. I mean, he's got such a fast. It's going to be hard to have that fast release in this wet football weather, though.
What do you think about the rubber gloves? Do you think?
You know what? I always liked Joel came up with this deal where he would wear one on one hand. He'd wear it on his non-throwing hand.
Right.
So when he gets a snap, he could control it better, but he still had the feel in his other hand. So he went with a hybrid. I always like the hybrid. Seemed to work best.
That's good.
It's not going to be too cold. That's a good thing. But making cuts on this, they're a faster athletic team. Not faster than us, but they're a fast athletic team who relies on a lot of juking and cuts. It's going to be tough for them on this grass.
Yep. But, I also look at it like this. Basketball is played with a 10-foot rim. Both teams got to play on it.
Yep.
Well, this field is 100 yards long. It's 53 and a half yards wide. And I used to line that thing every day. And the end zones are 10 yards long. So both teams have got to play on it. So I do agree with Dave in the fact that we've practiced on it. They've practiced on the nice carpet. And maybe we do have a slight advantage as far as field conditions.
I think so. Making a cut in mud is a lot different than a cut on carpet. So
That's absolutely right.
You know what? While we're on that topic, the one thing that I wonder that we'll see is do the players use the different kind of cleat? Because it used to be with the detachable, you used to be able to pick the 3 5/8, I think,
right.
or
nobody
now where a lot of
uses
players
those
are wearing
anymore.
those molded
Those are outlawed.
that are the Vapor
Yes, the long
Speeds
ones.
or the the Adidas Zeros, which they have more of a rubber sole on them.
yeah.
And you wonder, how those guys use those and cut on them because that makes a huge difference. That
Hey,
sure.
we used to have removable steel tipped cleats that
Yep.
you could replace the sizes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You hear you coming down the sidewalk.
right.
I remember Coach Casey did that one year. They were outlawed. We didn't know it, so they made us change all of our shoes.
Oh wow. Well, that's
All
back
right.
we used to play in turf with turf shoes, but
Right.
whatever happened to turf shoes? Anybody know?
I don't know. Is there such a
Everybody
thing
wears-
anymore?
I think
Everybody wears
I think they're
cleats on
golf
turf
shoes
now.
now.
I think they've changed. Well, guys, I'll tell you what. We're going to have to get these picks done because you know what, Doug, we got to get this equipment upstairs.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So-
Game time.
Guys, here's what I've done.
Okay, excuse me for just a second.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I have picked a few games that I want us to pick. Of course, I picked all of the OVC games here.
All right.
Okay, we've got Ironton at Cold Grove. Okay, we got Gallipolis at Rock Hill. All right, we got South Point at Chesapeake. Now, I've also got 4 college
South
games that
Point,
we're going to
Chesapeake.
ask you about.
All right.
All right, we got Marshall and Old Dominion. We got Kentucky and LSU tomorrow. We got Ohio State and I believe it's Maryland tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we got OU and Central Michigan. So we're going to rotate and go down through the line. Ricky, I'm going to start with you. First of all, we're going to talk about Ironton Cold Grove. Give us your pick and maybe give us a reason why you think you're picking what you're picking.
So looking at Ironton Cold Grove, it's plain and simple from Cold Grove. Last week we rode our running back 51 times, 336 yards, and they're going to do that tonight. Tonight they might give them 60 carries. And as bad as I would love to pick the upset, I can't go against Ironton with Carpenter being back. Ironton 38, Cold Grove 21.
Coach Harris?
Well, they're playing. Where are they playing that game?
I think it's at the Grove. I'm
Is
pretty
it
sure I
really?
rode at Grove, so it's at the Grove.
Okay. I think it's going to be closer. Cold Grove may be able to control the ball a little bit. So I'm just going to say Cold Grove is not going to win. I'm going to pick Ironton, but I'm only going to pick them by 10 points.
Okay.
Okay, 20 to 10.
All right. Joe, what do you think?
I think they're both wrong. I think Iron's a powerhouse. Being on the field with them this year, I just think it's going to be at least 28-3. Ironton.
I'm going to have to go with Joe on this. I think it's going to be more lopsided than you all think. I think Jay does a good job down. He really does. He still runs us. He lines it up as 3 yards in a cloud of dust, you know.
Right.
And, we watched him twice last year, and anything didn't change. But I just think Ironton has too many weapons, and I think the offensive defensive line's going to, for Ironton's better. That's what I think.
Cold Grove's not a catch-up team.
No,
That's
they're
what
not.
we saw that last
Okay.
year.
So now, Coach Harris, you're next. First, Gallipolis at Rock Hill.
I'm going to go with Gallipolis. They haven't played but one game in the last 3 weeks. I'd say they're probably hungry. Rock Hill's very predictable. They're going to line up a lot of full house tee, and I think Gallipolis is going to beat them 3 touchdowns, 21 zip.
Joe?
I think it's going to be Gallipolis as well. Coach Penrod's great coach up there. He does, and there's not a whole lot of surprises out at Rock Hill. I think it's going to be at least 2 touchdowns. I'm going to say 21-7.
All right, Ricky, you're next.
I'm going to go with the upset, and the reason being,
Ooh.
Rock Hill is going to line up and pound the rock, and Gallipolis does not have the ton of depth. Over the last couple of weeks, they've had, I think 20, 25 kids, and Rock Hill is going to run the ball, and Rock Hill is going to run the ball and run the ball, and I'm going to go Rock Hill 26, Gallia 20.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be a runaway game either way. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think that Gallipolis has the better athletes. And I think at the end of the night, that's going to be it. I'm going to go Gallipolis 16. I'm going to go Rock Hill 12. Okay. All right. Now, to me, this is also a big conference game between 2 teams that haven't won. And, Joe, we're going to go with you first. This is South Point at Chesapeake.
Gotcha.
So, give us your thoughts on this one.
Well, I watched this afternoon. I watched the Portsmouth Chesapeake game, and it just seems like Chesapeake is down man-wise. I think they've got a lot of people out. I don't know that for sure. It just seems like they're shorthanded, and I think South Point will probably come out ahead in this one. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be 10-7. South Point. I have to give the edge to South Point. I think you just have more full, healthier team right now.
Okay, Ricky.
South Point led last week against Fairland, 7-0. I think South Point comes out tonight. There's a lot of pride for guys to win at least one game their senior year, and I think that's going to be a motivating factor for South Point. Going to go South Point in a victory, 21-18.
Ooh, Coach Harris.
I have not seen Chesapeake play. I did see South Point play last week. That 7 points that they got was a turnover on a drive that Fairland was in the red zone, and Peyton Jackson fumbled the ball in the air, and the kid picked it off and had clear sailing down the left sideline. I don't know if they're capable of putting any points on the board, and I don't know much about Chesapeake, but I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Guess what, Coach?
I'm going with the Panthers.
I'm going with the Panthers. I'm going with Coach Todd Nip to get his first win tonight.
Okay.
I'd like to see that.
I don't know what the score's going to be, but I believe Chesapeake will come out on top.
You know what? Joe brought up a point that I do know is true. Chesapeake is down people. They really are.
Yep.
They've had a lot of kids that transferred out and kids sick and different things.
COVID hit them pretty hard a few weeks ago.
And so, you got to look at those issues. But I'm going with Pete. Okay, so we're 2-2 on that. All right, so guys, let's go real quick. We're going to go over our college games, and we're going to come back and we're going to do our picks for the game here tonight. So, Coach Harris, did we start with you last time? No, this is your turn to go first. Whose turn?
I think it's Joe's turn.
That was my turn.
Okay, Joe. Sorry.
No, I went first on South Point Chesapeake. So
Okay.
it's back to Ricky.
Rick.
It's your turn to go first.
No, I'll never go first.
Okay.
I'm the host here. I'm last. Except for on the last pick.
Okay.
That's going to be Coach Harris. Okay. All right, Ricky. MU Old Dominion. What do you think?
I mean, Marshall's got to win. Coach Huff's seat's probably starting to get a little hot, even though it's not yet. Here in 3 straight losses, 4 straight would be detrimental to that Marshall program, especially part of their rebuild. So you got to go Marshall. They can run the football, so we'll go Marshall 45, Old Dominion 28.
All right, Coach Harris.
That's a good call. I know Marshall is on a 3-game losing streak, but so is Old Dominion. They've lost 3 in a row. It's homecoming. It's at the Joan. What more could you want? I think Marshall's going to blow them out. I think Marshall may hang 50 on them. But I'm going to go 56-14 Herd.
Wow, Joe.
Wow, that's a blowout. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think Marshall's going to come back, and if their defense, I think the defensive calls need to get better. I think that last game, if you want my opinion, they blitzed the linebackers every play on that last drive where they came down and scored that field goal. I think if they make the right defensive calls, Marshall's going to beat them by at least 3 touchdowns. So I'm going to say 28-7.
Joe?
Marshall. What do you think?
I'm with you. Right there.
Hey.
I mean, I am. I think Marshall has some defensive issues. I still think we can score. But also, as Coach Harris said, I mean, I watched a little bit of Old Dominion. I didn't think they were that great.
They're not
so,
good.
You know, I mean, it's just being honest. Let's
Marshall's
go
the
there.
winning
Henneke
easy.
comes out of the NFL and comes back at them.
Yeah,
that's
they
right.
don't have the quarterback.
Marshall would still win.
All right, who's first next? I'm already confused. Coach,
Yep. Who we got?
Kentucky LSU.
Oh, I'm going with the Wildcats.
All right.
I tell you what, they had a huge win. They hadn't beaten Florida at home in, I think it was 31 years. But I think Coach Bowden does a great job with them. They've got the following, they've got athletes, and I believe Kentucky's going to pull an upset there by about, let's say, 6 points.
Okay.
Okay.
Joe?
No way. Kentucky got lucky in Kentucky last week. Mackenzie and Joel were both there, wishing good luck on the Wildcats. My nieces both go there. That's the only reason Kentucky beat Florida. And lightning will not strike twice in the same place. They're going to get beat by 20 points. LSU.
Woo. Ricky.
Sorry to disagree with you.
Well, that's quite all right, man. That's what this is
Give
all
me
about.
Ed Orgeron and a Go Tigers.
All right. Well, guys, I'm going to be at that game tomorrow.
Whoa.
Well, good
I'm
for
going down, and I'll just tell you guys, I've liked LSU since I was a kid, but you know what? I can't go against the Cats. I mean, come on, Stoops, let's get it done. Let's get it done. I'm going Cats on that one. All right.
We need to get some money out. If you're going to keep making let's get
All right. Who we up to next? Ricky, you first this time?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go OSU and Maryland. Guys, we got to get these quick.
I'm going with Maryland and Coach Loxley in an upset.
Wow.
Maryland 31, Ohio State 27, and I bet the Buckeye fans are calling for the backup quarterback. Is my prediction.
I like the way that the quarterback Stroud rebounded. He was out because of an injury, but he came back and he looked dynamite. I mean, he was right on the money. I like my Buckeyes.
Okay.
35-28.
Joe.
It's hard to go against the Buckeyes. But Maryland did beat down my Mountaineers earlier this year. I graduated from WVU, so that's always my team. Stop laughing. I know it's been a rough year. However, I think Maryland's gonna give them a better game than they thought. But Ohio State always just gets lucky. They get lucky with their weak schedule, and they get lucky with games they should. I'm gonna catch it for this, but yeah, I think it'll be close. I think it's 31-28 Ohio State.
I think Ohio State has too much. I think they'll get their defense fixed this week. Go Bucks. That's where we're going to go there. All right. Now, we got time for one last pick, guys, and it's Fairland and Portsmouth tonight. Okay. So, Ricky.
I think it's
Oh, no. We're going to go down this way, Coach. Ricky, I'm going to let you go first again.
All right. I'm going to go with the home team, Fairland Dragons, in an absolute Fairland waxing of Portsmouth. I think Fairland's defense forces 4 or 5 turnovers, and I'm going to go Fairland 44, Portsmouth 21.
All right.
That's a lot of points.
Joe, you're next.
That's a lot of points in the rain, Ricky. I don't know about that. Now we do have old triple threat Jackson at quarterback. He runs the ball, he throws the ball well, and he's a long snapper. For those of you in TV land that didn't know that, so he's gonna be hard to stop. J.D. Brumfield, you can't stop. The guy's got 7 touchdowns this year. He's running like a train. If our defense shows up, I think our defense will shut them down tonight. Steeler in the backfield. I think we're gonna win it by. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be 21-7, Fairland. That's my call.
Okay, I guess I'm next.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go against my team. I'm not.
You can't do it.
Hey,
We're under a green tarp.
I think that that's right. I think that our defense is going to keep that quarterback. We're not going to stop him, but I think we're going to contain him.
But listen, when I've watched him run from people on the film, he hasn't run from Casey yet. He hasn't run from J.D. and Riley. He hasn't run from the caliber of athletes that we have.
That's a good point.
You got to add Xander in
He
that
scrambles.
too.
That's true.
He doesn't scramble against Xander. And, we've got – think about the points we scored on special teams, Xander's running everything back
That's
this
true.
year, Steeler. So, it's – okay, sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
there.
no. You're all making good points.
It's my first time, and I'm a little jitty. jumping in on you there, sir.
You're doing great.
I'll let this guy take
You're
over.
doing
I just say yes, sir.
I know.
Okay.
I-
I'm going to go 28-14. I'm going to go with the Dragons. I think that, like you said, I think everybody really thinks this is going to be a super high scoring game. I just, with the weather conditions and the field, I just don't think it is. But I think that our defense is going to do enough to slow them down. That we're going, and I think they're going to get a big dose of JD tonight, and I think that's going to be the difference. So, Coach, your turn.
Well, as Lee Corso would say, just a minute, young man. I hate to break it to you all. I mean, here I've got the last pick, but I'm sorry to all you people out there. From Portsmouth, Ohio, it's going to be the Dragons.
Woo! Looky
The
there.
Dragons will win 21-7.
All right, folks, thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to get off of here. We're going to be back in about 20 minutes, Lord willing, on here. We want to thank Ricky Shifko, Joe Lambiot, Coach Jack Harris. I'm Dave Carroll. We will see you guys. Tune in here in 20 minutes on YouTube. Thanks a lot.